Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Busy Life podcast. Today, we will be interviewing our friend Janelle Smith, who is also a business and franchise owner of Ready, Steady, Go Kids Tasmania. After learning her background of medical science and going through a big career change, being redundant while being pregnant, becoming a mum and relocating to Tasmania, we thought her story would be very inspiring and transformational for our guests listening today. We hope you have a great time listening to this podcast. Welcome, Janelle. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming along to the podcast today. We're so excited to have you on. You're one of our very first guests. So this is going to be a
Special
one.
Yeah, very special.
Well, very grateful for the opportunity. So
Great.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself.
I am a newly relocated to Tasmania and relocated in 2022 and had a couple of careers before that, but currently the franchise owner of Ready, Steady, Go Kids Tasmania. So with a massive passion towards kids sport and child development.
I love that.
It's been a great opportunity to really pull all that together and bring a service to Tasmania that wasn't here before. And with all the things that I love doing, it's been a challenge, but incredibly fun at the same time.
Yeah.
I think everything, being a small business owner, particularly with being not initially from Tasmania as well and not having those connections would be such a struggle for you.
Yeah.
And we will get into that a little bit later on. What we do with all of our guests at the beginning of an episode is ask what your busy win and lesson was for the week.
That's a very good question. I think being the fact that as a business, we're typically a term-based program. So really at the moment, we've got a few things going on, but we're sort of in our holiday period. So I think the win probably is somewhat of a personal note, but considering business is so intertwined, it's the opportunity that I had to go away with my family over the weekend and see a different part of Tasmania and just try as much as possible to be present with them and have some mindfulness time and things that you sort of forget and lose track of along the way. So I think it was really just a massive win to actually dedicate that time, actually make the booking and actually go ahead and, feeling lots of excitement about the term coming up, but also really like cut fulfilled and ready to go as well. So, what was the other?
And what was your lesson for the week?
I think it's one of those things that you always know, but at the same time, I feel like I so easily forget.
Yeah.
It's just the power of the joy from a child's perspective. Like, we get so busy and forget to slow down, and watching my son just be in awe about climbing down, through creeks and rivers and waterfalls and everything, and just remembering the childlike fun that you can have. Yeah. And I think
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Bring that back.
Where did you end up going for your staycay?
So we went to Queenstown. We'd never been to the West Coast.
Cool.
Yeah.
How's the road coming in?
My child continually complained about the drive, but every time we got to somewhere different and new, absolutely loved it. So Queenstown for just a couple of nights, but went on the train.
Fun.
Yep. Great experience. And the Henty Dunes, which... another moment of definitely feeling very childlike and just like sliding
having
down.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun there.
I know. Like it's
I love it.
definitely not that you're ever going to really regret a family holiday, but I'm like, that was exactly
Just
what we
wholesome.
needed. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I am Tasmanian born and bred, and I've never been to Queenstown.
Really?
Yeah, so believe it or not. And also, funnily enough, so our next guest coming was also there on the weekend. So I wonder if you're with them, because that's so funny. They were on a train, they went to all the falls and everything. So we can talk about that later.
Yeah, no kidding.
You'll see them walk in later.
Yeah.
Like, I saw you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Tasmanian born and bred, never been.
Well, actually, since I've been down here, I've heard that story so many times that there's people that even, I've been told a story about someone who was living in the Derwent Valley and had never seen the ocean from there. So I think
oh my goodness.
you probably still travelled a fair bit more than so many other Tasmanians, and you forget to check out your own backyard.
I think because I have so much family in New Zealand and in WA that every time we had a family holiday, would go to see family.
Family.
So it would either be in New Zealand or WA. Very well travelled in New Zealand, very well travelled in WA because we'll go there every year on holiday and travel. But here in Tassie, it's very rare that you actually, experience your own backyard.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, well, we came here for a purpose. And you're like, I'd hate to, whatever our future looks like and wherever we end up, I'd hate to go, oh, cool, we were there for X number of years, but we saw just this patch here. It's like, it's
or stayed in Hobart the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It's so vast and wide and so much to see and do. And so.
That's great.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
Lovely. All right, we're going to deep dive into some questions and go all in straight up.
Why not? Why not?
All right. So you've got a pretty big, extensive background that you haven't just elaborated on just yet.
No.
So can you take us back to a moment where you realised your career path was about to change and what was happening in your life then?
And maybe talk a little bit about your original career path as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, naturally, as you've just said, it's sort of, to explain it all, you sort of have to go back a fair bit. So I remember from about being in year 10 knowing that I wanted to be a medical scientist and feeling like that was a rare thing to sort of know what you want to do. I managed to get into the degree that I wanted to straight out of school, and I completed it. I worked multiple jobs whilst doing the studies and everything, and sort of really set up the work ethic and managed to get a really convenient or lucky placement whereby I was employed from the beginning, which really set myself up. So, I was managing to be working as a medical scientist from about age of 21, 22, which is somewhat foreign, and typically you spend a lot more time in more the technical officer role. So, and that's somewhat important to sort of point on, because by 25, I had pretty much hit the point of being a medical scientist. I'd set up a new hospital in Adelaide in the pathology department. I'd been to multiple conferences. I'd done a range of things and ticked a lot of boxes, and sort of the next step in a way was management. And I'd seen the management in that role was not doing any of the work that you're actually trained to do. It was not in a role that I wanted to be doing or anything like that. And it was like, well, hang on, where now? So that was sort of an element of what started to change my direction. But it was also feeling like it wasn't fulfilling enough. Like I could see all these other people getting closer to me, and I'm like, but I don't want to go further. And it just wasn't really sitting right. And I knew that I wanted more for myself, and I felt like I wanted to be able to give back and contribute at a different point in someone's journey, and just being able to consistently ring up someone at the hospital and go, oh, this person's got a high potassium, which I'm sure I shall know what I mean.
What that is, but
that's okay. And they're like, oh yeah, that person's already passed away, and you're just like, oh, and then you just get on with the next one. You're like, why have I lost like that
the human connection to it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're like, but I could be doing so much more. So essentially, a lot of all that started to be playing out. And 2016, I got married, and we went to Europe for 6 weeks, and thinking Europe was not necessarily going to be that much of a challenge of a new place to go as far as in a personal perspective. But yeah, it was quite a journey, and it was one that sort of challenged a lot of my thinking growing up. Challenged the way I saw the world, about language, about culture, about religion, lots of different things, and just started to change my mindset from, which I think every child typically has, the narrative growing up that's around what their mum and dad tell you, and what that's how you believe the world to be. And so I think it was really around that 2016 mark, and particularly that holiday, where I was like, so that doesn't make sense anymore. Like that doesn't fit. That doesn't seem me anymore. And so, on the return from our honeymoon, my husband went to uni and went through his degree, and I did too. And I got a grade diploma in health promotion and a master's of public health. So, that's when I started going, I want to do something more in the early steps, really. And so having those qualifications now, almost not everyone probably can see the connection to about what I'm doing, but to me, I can. I feel like what I'm doing now is health promotion in the community, and, like working with children, and what better opportunity to reach a demographic and sort of help to shape their trajectory in their life than doing that with children. And so I feel like that's pretty special as far as what it all changed for me. And I was 2020, I had my son and went through working as a public health officer in SA during COVID times, which that's sort of a whole other story. But that was quite an experience. And really, when I was looking to come to Tasmania, I was like, oh, my son can just continue Ready Steady Go Kids. Well, that wasn't an option, so I made it an option, and we're heading into our 4th year now. So, but it really sort of a long-winded journey, but I think, I'm close to 40 now that it's, you sort of, after this many years in a career, you have a few turns, and I really genuinely don't believe that anyone really is going to be in one career for the rest of their lives anymore, and I don't think we're in any of those generations that's going to be the case, and I've just tried to embrace it, and it's crazy. I love it.
I have seen some research where the average person now has 6 careers
in
their lifetime, and that's so me because I just get bored.
Yeah. Oh.
And why do you want to be sitting down doing the same thing every day? Like, to
100%.
me, even being a business owner, I have to constantly keep changing and changing my role and what I'm doing to make sure that I'm still feeling fulfilled, because I haven't been doing that lately, and that's made me lose that passion for the role that I'm in. So I think it's so important when you talk about career change and development as well. Going off script here, could you just talk a little bit about Ready, Set, Go, what made you fall in love with the franchise, what your son was doing, and then we can move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have played sport for pretty much most of my life, and so in Adelaide my son had done a bit of time with the gym sports, which is very common down in Tassie as well, and most children typically do that along the way, and it was a great opportunity for him to move. But then in beginning of 2022 we did his first trial class in Adelaide under the franchise owner of James Ralston, who's now my business partner. But I just was watching it and recognizing just the play and the fun, and feeling like he can still learn these skills without the pressure and the need for it to be perfect
or competitive.
Yeah. And that, I think a lot of that was the initial part that's like really sung to me. And the joy, watching the joy of him being able to just roll a ball and throw his hands up in the air, and I did it. And even now when I've got kids that are in class and they have those moments, they're not my kid, but oh my goodness, do I get excited?
Same
Exactly.
Feeling.
And so I wanted to be able to replicate that. The more I looked into it and realized that, considering knowing my science background, but I was like, so it's actually embedded in science. Like there's someone who's considered this thoroughly. It's not just put together and thrown out there and, we'll see how this goes. Like it's been designed by a pediatric physiotherapist and an occupational therapist. So it's been done in a way to represent and reflect the development of a child. And to me, that's been very critical, and why, like, I started for one reason and then that's pulled me in further. And then I've gotten, so all right, that sort of pulls on both strings of sport and children, and then gone, like there's a massive like reasoning behind why we do something, and knowing that, working on hitting a ball like in T-ball all helps crossing the midline and being able to develop, those gross milestones that children need. So it just sort of flew on from there, and reaching out to the franchise owner from Adelaide and going, can you tell me more? What's your experience? And he came back from his conference and said, well, what about like partnering up together? And to be fair, I know that I'm not trying to take away from anything I've done, but like his input from logistics point of view to set up has been incredibly beneficial, and really has got us to where we are today. But it's and also I suppose being able to start in a brand new territory and a space is incredibly daunting, and head office who have to go through going, do we want to approve this person to take on the franchise in a new area? It can be a challenge, and it can be a challenge in any new state, but Tassie is its own unique place. But it's having James Ralston as a backer has been tremendous in being able to get us to where we are, and the support, and knowing that I'm not alone, because at the end of the day, I'm the franchise owner of the whole state, which we'll see where that plays out.
Which is amazing. Something to be very proud about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
Great. And becoming a mum was also a brand new role for you at that time. So how did that intersect with starting a business and growing a business?
Yeah. I think I very consciously waited quite a while before having a child, like, about 37 this year, and my son's only about to turn 6. And I very much had been looking back over my childhood and recognizing that the experiences that children have had over previous generations, and working on what I want for my child, and establishing what sort of lifestyle I want for them or whoever it was going to be, but going, what life do I want to bring them into, and what type of parent do I want to be, what does that want to involve, and wanting to provide I think every generation wants to provide a better opportunity than what they had in the past, really, and sort of that was definitely my focus, and then an element of breaking cycles and generational challenges along the way, and so I feel like that then has also led into how I've seen the work I do as well. I very heavily dip into Ready, Steady, Go Kids in regards to how we deliver it for children, how we make the space safe, how we make a child walk in and feel comfortable, a parent walk in and feel comfortable, and recognizing that I want each child to feel like just giving it a go and walking in is to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And especially, 18 months, 2 years of age, like, we're not expecting them to be, I look forward to all the devils and more growth than jack jumpers, but that's not necessarily the goal. It's about a child feeling confident and having the tools and being empowered to live the best life that they can live, and have a belief in themselves and a confidence. And that's sort of how I wanted my child or children, however it plays out to be, to have their life. And I felt like that also then intertwined massively with the starting a business and recognizing that, I can impact my child, but can I, in 30 or 45 minutes each week, find a way to impact more children as well? And I think that's...
I really like your answer there. I would assume with medical science, it's very structured and very tick boxy, where when you are running a business, particularly a business with children under the ages of 5, it's not so tick boxy and structured, and it'd be very up and down and around in circles. What inner narratives do you have to change to overcome going from such a tick box career to a more fluid one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like there's definitely very opposites in some sense of each other, but I think as a medical scientist, the role I was in clinical biochemistry, so we were attached to the emergency department. I was dealing with, like, a machine might break down, or an extra overload, or a what have you. It might have been a situation where I don't know, hospitals on divert and we're getting extra samples coming our way. Like, so even though there was always check boxes as far as you had to make sure that machines were maintained and everything was quality, there was an element of also it did get chaotic at times. And so it was about also staying calm in those moments. And because although I wasn't a manager, quite often, because we're a 24-hour lab, there are times where I was the highest on shift at the time. So it was about coordinating the team, ensuring that everyone was able to still do their roles, and recognizing how to prioritize work as far as something might have needed to be happening straight away, and other things may have just had to wait a little bit longer, and the communication required between doctors and nurses and pathologies staff. Correct, but yes, that's a whole other challenge. And I think so. Although it was very structured in that regard, there's definitely massive elements where it just turned into chaos, and it was about making sure that you prioritize the bigger moments and what needed to be prioritized, and going from there. And there were times also that, even though it was typically moved into 10-hour shifts towards the end of it, but I was on call a lot, so I would get home, drive into my driveway, and I'd get a phone call that I'd had to go straight back in. And it was no like, I'll go in soon. It was no, I'm going straight in because there's someone who's on the table and needs an organ right now. So it was under pressure, end up some days doing 17, 18 hours days. So I suppose there's also that element of the push through when you're exhausted that was still leading into going, oh, well, now I'm doing it, but now I'm doing it just for the benefit of a business. So it's very intertwined. But I think there I also had a lot more work as a team, and we were, you know, everyone was there for either part-time or full-time work in a way, and we're all sort of going towards similar goals, and it is very outcome driven. And I think that's probably a little bit where it can be the bigger difference between what I'm doing now, because you can tell when you've got less number of people getting heart attacks or something. It's you can sort of join the two together, whereas having children, although there are some milestones to meet, but it's harder to connect up the dots as to why someone should be as passionate as I am about something. So I think some of the narratives I've really had to sort of work through is that I feel so passionate about what I'm doing, and not always will everyone else.
Oh, this is such a big one. I even find this in business myself.
Yeah.
Like, you expect people to be as passionate as you, but you're very, very, very rarely going to find someone who is as passionate about you, because at the end of the day, your business is another one of your babies.
Absolutely.
And I think personally for me, I feel even more protective over my business because I feel like more can go wrong with the business than my child, you know?
Yeah, well, it's exposed a lot more as well. Yeah. And it's if you have even as simple as, you know, someone might post in a social media group, or have you heard about this place? And you're like on edge going, you know, what are they going to say? So it's like the idea
and the reviews of it.
Yeah. And that, I mean, element of feeling like you're going to get rejected by something or not be heard or understood
or misrepresented.
Yes, every single time there's like a post on a Facebook group and it's like looking for a mortgage broker documentation. I've got the notifications on.
Yes.
Because one time we were once misrepresented, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion
100%.
And we can't always get the service 100% correct for every single person. But this one was really misintertwined. It wasn't even the client, it was someone related to
Oh, that's so challenging.
And it was so challenging because it broke my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now I'm stressed every time. It's only ever happened one time.
Yeah,
but it's really wrecked me. And every time I'm up all night checking
I know. I see your comments and I see your comments and stuff too. And that's just like that personal touch, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's that protectiveness coming out.
Such protectiveness, And then once you've got your own staff, you've got to trust them with it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like, that's just the other thing. Like, I actually have in just under 3 years, fired 2 staff along the way. Yeah. And I feel like that's not necessarily a statistic to be particularly proud of, but then I try and flip it and go, I do it with a purpose of they're representing the brand, they're representing me, and then also if they aren't going to deliver in a way that makes me feel comfortable, then they can't be a part of this. And I have to back my decision. And I don't have any regrets. It's not a pleasant experience, but it's because you don't want the flow-on effect of how that will negatively impact what you're trying to do, all the hard work. And
that's also okay to let go people.
Yeah.
Sometimes people aren't fitted out for that particular role. And that's not to say that they're not great people or anything like that. Absolutely not. Like they're 100%. Just more suited in a different area or a different element. But I think it's like also making it that's perfectly okay to protect your brand and protect your business.
And it's such a hard thing to do. This is something that I was really needed to work on when it became to business, because I really struggled to let go of people. I made friendships with people and then there were people that really should have been let go earlier, and they played a massive detriment on our business because I couldn't pull the trigger to let them go. And ever since, it took a little bit of rebuilding, but the culture's improved, the numbers are improving, income's improving. Because once you've got someone that's putting a negative impact on your business, it goes throughout the whole business.
100%.
If someone's coming up late to work, then other people will think it's okay. If someone's rocking up to work in track pants, other people are going to think it's okay, and then it keeps going on. So so important to have that skill, and it's one that doesn't come easily because you've got it, like, it's someone's livelihood,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think probably similar to what you experienced in the early times. From the very beginning, we were a lot smaller team than what we are now, and it was continually navigating that dynamic of I'm still on court, so I'm still coaching because I actually love doing that. Yes, I might be a business owner, but that's something I love doing. But at the same time, I need to then foster my coaches to be able to do it without me.
Yes.
But then also be able to get to a point where I can pull on so that they are prepared to take on feedback and recognize that it's the purpose of it as well. And it's navigating that sort of friend time that sort of happens initially versus really pulling back onto the employer-employee demographic.
And it's sad too, in a way. Like, I had made some really good friendships through work, and I do have some good friends now, but it's also like I definitely have that level of authority now. You know, like I have to have that authority, because especially being younger, as soon as you have that friendship, the lines get crossed.
Yes.
And
They're
it's really
blurred.
hard to re-line them up.
Yep.
So, we used to, you know, and it's sad for my current staff, I do feel guilty because I used to have them all over for dinner.
Yeah.
You know, involved into my son's life, things like that. But now it's like, you know what?
The boundaries have to go in place.
The boundaries have to be there because they've been broken before, and it took a lot to rebuild, and they can't be broken again. Yeah.
Oh, and that trust you finally... to sit into a place of trust, which is something I'm really hoping to feel better about this year.
Yeah.
Because of the previous experience, you're just like, I get antsy sometimes. I'm like, oh, but I would have something different. And just letting it go is, and that's something to continually navigate.
I also find that too, and sorry to go back to me, but being the age I haven't worked in another mortgage broking firm. Yeah. So having other people come in who have got more experience in different areas than me, I really have to take their feedback on board and what they've done in the past and what's worked, because I don't know. I only know what I know and what I've created.
Yes.
But then it took me a lot to mature and go, you know what? I need to take this to my advantage. Yeah. If this person has experience in this industry, for example, Sandy, my operations manager, I have learned so much from her. It took a long time for me to peel those layers and give in, but everything she's brought into the business has been fantastic because she's got so much experience in so many different areas within the industry.
She's adding value to it.
So much value. And I just needed to swallow my pride and take on her advice and what she's doing. And it's been unstoppable for the business. So I completely understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So the next question, I guess for our audience, you having like a medical science background to then being a business owner for kids development, like when was there a moment where you're like, I'm actually equipped for this? Like I've got the skills for this.
I think it's sort of evolved, and it's not necessarily been one specific moment, but more moments that have happened along the way, and I've looked back and gone, oh, so that's why as such, because I was a medical scientist for 11 years. For a long time, I felt that was my identity, and there was a stage where I'm like, oh, how am I going to navigate and not being Janelle medical scientist? Like that's, you know, get tied to that. And even though I felt that it was a right move to do, it was a bit to go there with feeling comfortable with that not longer being who I was. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll always have the degree, and who knows what the future holds, and I can always go back to it. But it's also, it's the moments that have happened along the way that have gone, oh, I could, but that's not what I want to do. So I think really it's the small moments in class. It's the opportunity to know that what we've been able to create has given children more of an opportunity to, like I said previously, be able to live a life that sets them up in these early years. I mean, so much research is out there in all the education department resources and everything. And then there's also B4 Early Years Coalition, who also talk a lot about the first 1,000 days being incredibly important. And to know that what we're able to do and foster those positive experiences in those years is incredibly fulfilling. And so then in class, it is fun when you have a child that comes in and, you know, from 18 months, they've obviously almost been born with a ball in their hand and they can kick it straight away. Like, it's great, cool, I love it. And they serve a great purpose in class, but it's the child that comes in and is shy from the very beginning, clings onto the leg of the parents.
Yeah, I know one of these pretty well.
I wasn't going to name names, but at the same time, it's not just one of them, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, it is a new place. And I'm constantly trying to remind families when they come in for a trial, because we offer free trials to all new members, and sometimes the first session just doesn't go to plan. Yeah. And that's okay. But what comes out of it, and it's whether it be the moments in class when they kick a ball and look back up and gone, oh, I did that. Or, you know, even like the children get a medal at the end of term 4, and it could be as simple as like giving that medal, because we don't normally try and tell the children. We sort of leave it as a bit of a surprise, putting that medal around their like neck and looking at them going, oh, I've got one. And especially when they're a sibling and they've seen the older siblings get trophies, and they're like, me too? Like, I'm handing you one of these? So it's like, yeah. And it's okay at that age to celebrate participation, because the achievement is in the fact that they've got in the door. The achievement is in that, and they've been able to give something a go. Yeah. And maybe the first 2-3 classes, they only do, I don't know, the last 15, 20 minutes of the class. But you get to week 10 and there you go. This is how much it means to me, because you get to week 10 and you see them doing the warm-up, like, and they're doing the stretches, and maybe that term they're still doing it next to their parent, but they're doing it. But then the term afterwards, the parent goes, sit down, like get told to sit down. You're like, oh, okay, all right, cool. And parents absolutely loving it. And I think I absolutely love the ability to be able to go, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it might be hard right now, but just give it a try. But then also having a lot of compassion for going, all right, maybe not today it's going to happen, but it's just, I think a lot of moments during 2023 when we first started where you're going, oh, like, this is us. We're doing this. This is pretty cool. And the journey that we've seen on children, and then in a way, without sounding cocky, you've got a parent that might come in, you're like, yeah, okay, look, maybe it's not great today, but wait and see. You watch how it's going to go in the next few weeks in the term, and they just need time and opportunities. And I feel incredibly privileged to have that opportunity, and which is why exactly, like, I'm so protective over it, and I don't, very conscious of how I share that with others as regards to, you know, like we said before, the staffing and everything, because I want every other child to have just as much of an experience that I try and provide them as my coaches give them. So it's, I get emotional watching some of them. And, I've got some families who, you know, do particularly choose not to be across socials. But if I could have shared one particular child from last year's journey, it literally was one of those moments. By the time I got to the end of the year, I was pretty much crying as they were saying their goodbyes. I was like, and you're getting the thank yous from the families, knowing that that child is now ready to move on to the next step. When with the challenges that person has had in their life, they didn't think they'd ever be interested in team sports, but the opportunity may be there now for them. And
so special.
Yeah, it's any challenging day behind the scenes, as every business owner has. Remember those moments I have, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's okay. I've got it because this is why I'm doing it, and it is so worth it.
Moving on from those moments, what's one of the proudest moments for you within your life?
I think the continual mentality that I've had is to back myself and to be able to do the thing that I'm not meant to do, supposedly. Like, yes, there's an element of this should not be the trajectory I should have been on. I should still be living in Adelaide. I should be doing this, should be doing that and everything. And I'm not sure, I'm not upset by it, but I'm not sure why I've never really completely questioned those things. I question the smaller things. I don't necessarily question the big things. Like, I didn't really question so much about leaving my secure job at 11 weeks pregnant on a redundancy package, not knowing we're about to go into COVID. But I think, so I just, across my life, I'm just proud of being able to put myself out there, step out the comfort. I mean, even Ash asked me last year if you wanted to sit on a panel for an event, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then afterwards going, oh, what have I just said yes to? Oh, well, I'm doing it now. Like, even, today, I'm like, I think every big challenge that I've gone ahead and said yes to has been incredibly worthwhile. And even though there's so much more to my story, I would probably never change anything, even all the incredibly hard times. So it's not really one specific. I think it's just my way about about things that really feel pride in doing.
Huge. What an incredible privilege it is to say that you're able to not have to go back and change anything, no matter the hard things, because you're in such a beautiful position where you're so happy and fulfilled in what you're doing. I
Yeah.
think that is just such an incredible place to be in, because you are who you are because of those things that have happened to you in the past. So I think that's incredible. And the work you do in the community, I wish you got more more good way to wreck it, really.
Yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
I think you deserve more than what you're getting, because
I appreciate that.
we can see how passionate you are, what you're trying to do for your community, and in a community that you haven't been in for very long as well.
No.
So I think that's really special.
It is
Thank
very
you.
special.
Thank you. I think it's also taken a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But, like just like
100%,
every
for sure.
every person that has their own journey, you not necessarily sit in that position of pride of that from the very beginning. And it doesn't mean that there's not hard days or challenges that work behind the scenes or anything. But I think big picture wise, I'm just like, I actually really wouldn't change a thing, and even the hard things. But yes, I've definitely done the work to sit in that position and feel like I can say that with confidence and go, look, it's still not smooth and sailing all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm here and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah,
Great.
wonderful.
So if there was a man or a woman sitting on the edge of a career change, what would you say to them?
So much, really. I think so. I actually have a tattoo on my back that I got just before we relocated, even though I had a bracelet at one stage that had this written on it as well. So it's something that I've really sat in for a long time. And it's how I felt with the move, as far as I had no idea how this was going to go. It could have completely flopped. People could have gone, oh, who's this person from the mainland? What are they coming here to do?
Yeah.
Which there has been elements where I have received that. But essentially my motto has always really been the lines of, what if you fall? Oh, but darling, what if you fly?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love that.
felt like I've lived by that for quite a long time, but that I've actually got that tattooed on my back, and I feel like it's
I think
worth
that's
the
a great
risk.
representation of you. Like knowing a lot about your back history and knowing a lot about you in particular, and the moments where you've had that element of self-doubt or that element of, no, I shouldn't be up here speaking, or no, I shouldn't be doing all these things. And you've just flown with such grace and such, it's been so great to watch. And I feel like that quote is you to 100% a T.
Thank you. I think that, the first 12 months being down here was somewhat a lot more isolating than I probably expected. And it wasn't until mid-24 into 25 that I've started going, oh, hang on a second. I'm starting to find my people that I feel more aligned to and feel like have genuinely got my back.
Yeah.
And that has definitely helped along the way. And I've, some of my values are around collaboration and working together and not feeling the need to be competing against everyone all the time.
Yeah.
And when you find someone else that's like, oh, that's how they live, you're like, okay, so hi, how are you? Where are you? What can I how can I be
What can I learn from you?
Yeah, exactly. How can I engage with you and see where this goes? I think I've sat a lot into, well, what are my values? What do I believe in and everything? And doing the scary continually seems to prove people are worthwhile. And really, whoever's looking to make a big decision, we did have plenty of people going, well, what if it doesn't work out? And we did have to put a lot of money into the whole the business and then the relocation and everything that comes with that. But I figured, well, I've got a supportive partner, and that's something I'm incredibly grateful for. And I appreciate that not everyone necessarily always has. But if it doesn't, oh well, I go back. Try something different.
Yeah.
What's the
You've
worst?
got a degree to fall back on.
Yeah, exactly. I've got 3 qualifications. I think I also look back on a few people I've known across my life, let's go there, where I see how they've sat very much in the victim mentality and felt like everything should have come towards them or their challenges they've had along the way, it's everyone else's fault and that mentality, and it just never sat right with me.
No.
So it's like, well, the alternative is to just go with it
and make it work.
Exactly.
Or at least try.
Exactly. So there's some potential opportunities that I'm trying to work through for 2026 and 27, and there's some big risk around them, but at the same time, I've said to all the people that are involved in it, I'm like, I'm not willing to let it go until I've given it a try.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I've lived everything else. So why stop now?
Right.
But it's been like, if you give it a try, it's worthwhile.
Yeah. This isn't a question on here, but just reflective on what you're saying, and then I'll go into the final last question. So just answer this one quickly.
Yes.
When you say risk, what is a risk to you? Like what is a risk? Because a risk looks different to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think where the particular example that I have in my head, that risk is a lot more sitting around money.
Yeah.
But then there's also still an element of logistics and establishing how that if it doesn't work out, how will that reflect?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's navigating that, but it's a very tricky place. I love being in Tassie. Please never get that wrong. But at the same time, in my experience, I found there's a massive element of an island tax, and all the things are a little bit more expensive than what I'm used to on the mainland. And so the bottom line ends up getting a bit tighter if you're not conscious. So I think it's this particular example that I have in my head is a lot more around the, if it doesn't go right, it could be financial ramifications. Yeah. But I think the rest of the risk is a lot more, probably more around the idea of just, what if I fail?
Yeah.
But at the same time, history says that I continue to at least give it a try, even if I am going to fail.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And my last question for you, and I'm changing this around a little bit, so sorry.
That's all right.
But what is something on the outside that looks perfect but is actually pretty messy on the inside?
My brain. Oh dear. I think definitely a few things. I think if I go really serious in regards to that answer, it's around classes that we run.
Yeah.
And so it often is chaotic.
Yeah.
But that reflects how children are in their development stages and recognizing that it doesn't always look perfect in class.
Yeah.
And, someone might walk in and go, oh, what's going on here? And there might be a child that's just doing laps of the court, or another child that's decided they're going to sit there and just do that one activity the whole session.
Or Andy going up and down the stairs 100 times.
And yep, that's definitely another example. Exactly.
He just goes up and down the stairs at the sports centre.
But
that's so great.
But that's just true reflection on where they're at that stage. If they're feeling safe, if they're feeling like they can feel confident and comfortable in the space, then it's a win.
Let them.
Yeah.
What's the harm?
Yeah.
Is anyone being hurt? Is anyone are they being hurt? Anything it's so I think in that respect, classes often look very messy. But also that's how it's meant to be. They look a bit more ordered and organised as the children get older. But also sometimes the wind's just blowing the wrong way, and it doesn't happen that way that day as well, and that's okay. And I think the element of going, but that is still perfect, is sometimes trying to share that narrative with parents as well. Because if they haven't had a lot of experience around a lot of other kids and they only really know their child, they might feel like, oh, what is this? Yeah. But going, no, it's okay. These are the priorities. If we're ticking them, everything else will flow on effect. But I think, my whole life in a way has somewhat been messy in regards to those that I never really live very well by routine. I have great intentions, but I sort of try to consistently balance the whole going with the flow versus needing to achieve what I want to achieve. And I suppose it's somewhat working. Like I said, there's challenges, but I'm happy. My child's crazy, but he's flourishing at the same time. I don't know. I don't think life is ever really completely one direction or clean or anything, or at least that's definitely not my experience. But I think as long as we're prioritizing what we really want, I don't think it really matters, or at least I'm definitely more leaning into it not being an issue.
Sure. Yeah.
Can't say that my husband would say that I've always feel that way, but you know, where I'm at now is a lot more about going to embracing. And
That's great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thanks so much for sharing everything with us, Janelle. Unfortunately, we do have to finish up,
No.
but I've absolutely loved speaking to you more on a personal level today. Absolutely. It has been a pleasure speaking to you, and you've been so generous with your time and what you've shared with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the opportunity. It's as you've mentioned previously, it is hard when you're not from here. It is hard when you're, you know, you feel like you're doing all the right thing and wanting to continue to get yourself out there. So I suppose that's probably another reason why I just try and go, here's this opportunity, let's go for it. So I'm grateful for the people that are willing to like give this.
Bless.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.